I think that for the police, you have to really make your monitoring devices even more sensitive. This didn't happen overnight. It didn't happen within 2 weeks. Certainly, it didn't happen within just 1 month. It's been going on for a while. And so I think that your system for scanning the whole environment must be sharper so that we're able to avoid such damage. Live in this town. They live here. They've rented houses here. They live here. That is where they get up every morning and come. They are in the communities. And so to think that this has been going on for weeks and we couldn't get any public spirited person, no leader here to show up to say that, look, this thing must stop. If anybody, any leader from this community had come here to really show concern, had come here to show leadership, I believe that this matter, would have ended as soon as the people showed up.
One of the important successes is the change in the whole issue of excavators. Excavators came in huge quantities, and I remember that at a point under the previous administration, they asked that permits be gotten before excavators are imported. Meanwhile, the law did not say you should get a permit after, but that was what we came to meet, that you bring the excavator, then you go to the Ministry of Transport and ask for a permit. But the law actually says that you must get a permit before you import the excavator. And so now we're enforcing that law. And so you can't bring an excavator in, you can't put it on a ship, and we're telling the shipping agencies, if you bring an excavator for which there's no permit, we shall penalize you, the shipping agency, for carrying that excavator here to Ghana. What are we doing to the kingpins? Because most of those 1,400 who have been arrested are young youth who are looking for something to be able to look after themselves. And we'll prosecute them, we'll imprison them. But those who run those operations are the ones that we must be arresting and imprisoning, not these little boys. And so we need to change our strategy. We can arrest the boys and all that. And I think that even if we send them, they should be given a leaner sentence by the judge, a slap on the wrist. But those who must be given, there's no slap on the wrist. What's the least sentence? 15 years. 5 to 15. Yeah, so we'll catch these boys and we'll feed them for 5 years, look after them for 5 years, and discharge them. But like I'm saying, maybe we can look rather for the kingpins and deal with them in a major way.
And for our conversation this morning, you will know for the This Morning segment, we have the question how you would rate the government's efforts in tackling Galamsey so far, 9 months into office. And you know that the pressure is mounting on the president, despite all the effort he's making. The last of those efforts, I mean, by way of the national effort aesthetically, was that big or massive engagement with civil society, key stakeholders across civil society as well as the media and the general society on how we can fight Galamsey. And I have to say that it's not an easy battle. The question then we have to ask ourselves is, have we lost the battle, or could we be doing something better than what has been done so far? Because the results, well, maybe trickling in, but they are not massive. And that's why the pressure is on the president. The president, if you look at the constitution, is commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces. And so what is now being advocated is that as commander-in-chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, you are expected to take those radical, drastic decisions that will put, well, the fear in those who are perpetrating this heinous crime against the ordinary Ghanaian at the expense of the wealth that they are getting. And, well, the approaches have been undertaken, a number of them. We have a task force in place. We've had task forces in place before. You know, we even had Operation Vanguard, Galamsey Stop. There's been part 1, part 2. We even had drones, bots. I remember we did a live coverage on one of them like that at the Accra International Conference Center during the period of the Akufo-Addo Bawumia administration. And so it seems to be putting that trepidation of fear among ordinary citizens and those in civil society about whether the approach is right, is not just replicating what has been done before. And that is why we, as TV3 NewDay, we say that we also associate with all the calls for the president to perhaps make more drastic the decisions that he needs to undertake as Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces to ensure that the livelihoods that could be lost as a result of the public health crisis that is creeping into the population because of those who are undertaking mining illegally or Galamsey, then would have to be aptly looked at. And you saw those things said there. It was the Western Regional Minister, I'm told, who had that interaction there, to the point that now even the Ghana Railway Authority, through the company that operates its rail lines in the Western region, cannot even do that because we have the perpetrators of this Galamsey digging beneath the rail lines. Not to even talk about people giving away their farmlands. As a result of that, our cocoa yields have also reduced over the years because cocoa farmers, on one hand, are willing to give out their farms to earn a keep today, not thinking about their generations for the future. More so, families who had occupied lands belonging to them for generations are now trading that for the short-term gain, not thinking about generations for tomorrow. The worst of is that for many of these areas where we have Galamsey being perpetrated or undertaken, it also forms, or they form part of the bulk of the areas where we get our food produce or the food stuff that we put on our morning, afternoon, and evening tables to eat or buy in town. And so there are scientific surveys, reports, investigations now indicating that we have high levels of arsenic, lead, mercury, as well as poisonous metals in our foods that we, as citizens of Ghana, are unknowingly eating. Not even to talk about water that we drink. I don't know what you think about it. If this is not drastic, I don't know what we can. And it's about our survival as well. And purely, it is because people have been given licenses. Others don't have those rights to go into those areas to mine. And they are doing that unsustainably or not friendly to the environment. Nobody's saying you shouldn't mine, but mine sustainably. So if you mine, you make sure you recoup or you close the pits, you recycle the water so that we don't have our water bodies polluted, and control the metals that are put in those water, so to speak, that are used in washing off to be able to get those grains, or I don't know the word to use, the terminology to use of gold, the gold dust that you will get, you know, after you refine and do everything. All right, so that's why we're here today. Please, TV3 Ghana is available. That's where we're streaming. I see a number of you as well. I quickly would want to acknowledge some of you, but I also have a number of individuals in the studio to help us do the discussions. Dr. Ramsey Inusa is a communications team member for the Movement for Change. And good morning to you. Good morning, and thank you for joining us as well. Your trade for your PhDs in what? Your specialty?
I'm a medical doctor.
You're a medical doctor by profession?
Foreign medical graduate.
Good, fantastic. Which of the countries did you train in?
Hebei in China.
Sheshe.
Ni hao ma?
Ni hao ma?
You say Wahenhao.
Sheshe. And so we also have Theophilus Jimaga, who is also a legal practitioner, great friend of mine as well. He's also here. Lawyer Jimaga, how are you? Lawyer TK, as you're popularly called, right?
Yes.
Great. Good to have you once again.
Pleasure.
I haven't hosted you in a while. Went away
Pleasure.
for some. We hope to have on the stream Professor Smart Sampong. He's a director for research and innovation, the Kumasi Technical University. And then we're also going to have right here in the studio a legal practitioner, very experienced one as that, also a traditional ruler, Dr. Josiah A.M. Koba, a former principal lecturer, GIMPA, as well as currently also practices to law as well. And I told you that I want to acknowledge a number of you who are on our stream. It's very important. One loyal viewer who came to Ghana recently, lives in the UK, celebrating the birthday. So I always want to wish my friends. Prince Nania York, you're celebrating your birthday today. Happy birthday to you, great guy. And Roger Agongo, I see you. Amma Kokonsa and F4 Yesuto, I see you as well. And again, we have to block all those who are putting the scam messages about data, etc. on our stream. Please refrain from doing that. You interfere with the messages and the way we seem to also read them for our viewers as well. Kingston, Bisna, Basimega, please share the stream. Let's have some great conversations. Manuel Dixon, Samuel Kate is also joining. And so Obrin Ponkaba is also here. But look, let's get the conversations going. Lawyer TK, the fear is that you know that the president, Commander-in-Chief of the Ghana Armed Forces, by our own laws, all those minerals in those vested lands are supposed to be vested in the president as well. And then, of course, you go to other regulations and laws. The minister for the sector is supposed to be responsible. And the accusation now, despite the president meeting civil society, etc., is that the president is just not doing enough. He's lame ducking.
Good morning to your viewers, wherever they find themselves, and of course, my good people from Hohwe.
That's your constituency?
That's my constituency. I was at the presidency on Friday.
You were?
Yes, I was there. I wear several hats, as you know. I'm also a member of Linsod, which is also a CSO. I don't think the president was lame ducking. With all respect to everybody who is complaining about Galamsey, I think that a number of people are talking about this Galamsey issue from a point of ignorance. When I say ignorance, I mean they don't have enough facts about what is happening. I was pleasantly surprised when the Catholic bishop who stood up to talk said a lot is being done, they are not aware. I also listened to the CSO led by Colonel Festus Abuaji, who also said that they also felt a lot of things are being done and a lot more needs to be done. My biggest problem is those who are shouting for the state of emergency to be declared. We declare state of emergency and do what? They are not telling us, declare state of emergency and do ABC. It is like they want us to jump before thinking where to land. In fact, if I had had the opportunity that day to ask questions or to contribute, all I would have said is, for those who are in the room and who are advocates, Ken Ashigbe, etc., so much respect to them. Tell us what to do when state of emergency is declared. You mentioned here that the president, the minerals are vested in the president. He holds them in trust for the people of Ghana. That's perfectly well. The president has the type of executive presidency we have. He has so much powers. He can do a lot of things currently, even with the numbers they have in parliament. So I don't know what is not being done today that you want the president to declare state of emergency. We were told that there were at least 9 forest reserve areas which were no-go areas previously. Now they have reclaimed all those 9 areas. Now, the persons they sacked from those forest areas, reserve areas, went back. They were chased again. A number had been arrested and brought to Accra. We are also told that there is a total overhaul of the mining laws. The LI everybody was talking about that revoke is going to be revoked. Then there had also been community engagements and sensitization for all this. So I think that a lot of work is being done. If you see some of the pictures that were produced, in fact, I told the Minister of Lands the other day that I think that we are not late. We need to do a lot more on the education for people to know what is being done. Yes, Galamsey, you mentioned that we have high levels of poisonous materials in our foods. What were the levels then? What are the levels there? Where were they sampled, etc.? There is good work being done. So remember also, all we are saying was not done within 8 months or 9 months. There had been years of accumulation of all that is being done. And you don't expect it to just be turned around within a day or a month. I think that we are not out of the woods. A lot more work is being done. For example, the railway issue that we saw, it had happened before. It used to happen. It doesn't mean it's a justification for it to happen. And as the minister rightly said, it didn't take a day. What happens then? You also mentioned the situation where people are changing from farming cocoa to Galamsey. Admitted. But what if a big mining company acquires that area? They still cut down the cocoa tree, pay compensation, and move on. So let us not make it look like this is happening only under NDC or is happening now.
Lawyer TK Jimaga, are you making a claim that the calls for a state of emergency really are ill-conceived and not the panacea to resolving this?
Exactly, you've used the word.
If that is your argument, why?
I am happy you used the panacea. I said it somewhere the other day. It is not. Why do we need a state of emergency? What for? You have not told us what we need to do after the state of emergency. I'll give you a typical example. It happened in the Philippines. Their last president declared a state of emergency to fight drug menace.
Who, Gatete?
Duterte.
Duterte.
Yes. He's in Hague now on the fact that
for human rights abuses.
Human rights abuses. And when a state of emergency is declared, literally, our constitution is suspended, literally. A lot of the rights you enjoy, you can't move, you can't do this. But tell us why you need a state of emergency to be declared. The president was very clear in his answer when he said, I will declare state of emergency, or I am supposed to declare state of emergency based on the advice of the National Security Council. As we stand now, they have not advised me to that. The day they will advise the president to declare the state of emergency, he said he will not waste even a second to do that. The president has so much power. We have NIMOS, the military group that is currently in the forest.
It's a task force.
It's a task
It's
force.
not a military group, headed by a military person.
Yes, headed by a colonel. And when they did their presentation last Friday, everybody was happy at the success they are achieving. And if you look at the presentation done on the stability, it was done on areas where NIMOS had worked. So the idea is, what if they scale their operation? We expect to see improvement. And yesterday, when the minister met a number of people and trying to explain what is being done, in fact, you could see that a lot more progress has been done. Are you aware that for the last 8 years, no excavators were registered? And a lot of excavators were, over 1,200, we are told, were imported within the last 6 months into the country. Now, the law, as the president said, is that obtain permit before you import the excavators. Now they say, well, you have brought your excavator. Bring us the permit and we release the excavators to you. The excavators are there. Nobody is coming for them. Now it's even becoming a headache. What do you use the excavators for? Maybe drip, maybe to the district assemblies to use. So a lot more is being done. The regulatory framework is being tightened. Licenses are not being issued. You know the number of licenses that were issued within the transition period. So please, I'm not saying let's cut a bit of slack for them, for the minister and for the government. But I think that a lot more work is being done. We only need to communicate what is being done. Then the realities will be seen.
Dr. Nusa, is there a situation of perhaps an appetite of the generality of civil society and those who abhor illegal mining or the state at which we have polluted our water bodies, and then also the indiscriminate way illegal mining is being undertaken, that they have that appetite for the state of emergency other than a well program of action that could maybe within a gradual process face off the way the activity is done, or it's just that we don't understand what the government wants to do?
Well, Roland, let me say good morning.
Morning,
to good
morning,
self,
morning.
and a good morning to council here and to the good people of Ghana. Indeed, Roland, If you look at the position of we members of the Movement for Change, as we have posited in our 10-point solution to fight the menace of Galamsey, you clearly realize that there is nothing like the call of a state of emergency. We believe that, indeed, there are other avenues that are yet to be exhausted. And as you rightly intimated this morning, the president has the absolute powers of the state, backed by the security agencies, to really enforce the laws that we have currently. The reason why CSOs, and I don't blame them, because I have even said it before that we ought to have a state of emergency.
You've been an advocate.
I have even
in
been
the past.
In the past.
Okay.
But
why are you not advocating for a state of emergency today?
I think that we've had a collective decision as members of Movement for Change that there is still room, or there's hope, if indeed the 10-point solution that we have presented to the people of Ghana is being adopted. So indeed, we have adopted a solution. We have shared it on various media platforms. And we believe that if the president and the ruling government would adapt to such and effect that, we can see some positive results.
What's your plan? Movement for Change.
Indeed. We have said that, and as the government is currently doing, that number one, they should revoke LI 2462, and furthermore, amend the Minerals and Mining Act 703 to ensure that there would not be any mining in our forest reserves. Number two, we should also put a ban, a 1-year ban, on all small-scale mining and artisanal mining in this country.
You should put a whole year ban?
A whole year ban. Under this whole year ban, there should be a forensic audit of the various small-scale licenses that were given for the past 15 years. I know that they claim that they have done an audit and they have cancelled, they've revoked some of the licenses and all that, but you should do an audit whilst there's a ban for 1 year. We believe in that. And that once there's a ban for 1 year, there's enough time for government to liaise with the CSOs and then the CSIR, the Water Research Institute of the CSIR, and the EPA, and then the Minerals Commissions and the Gold Board, to come together and see how best they can develop Ghanaian innovative solutions to be able to recuperate our environment and our water bodies within this 1 year. And you know currently that there is a debate in the scientific world of Ghana community that is debating on the word dechemicalization. I'm sure you've seen that debate going on.
Yeah.
It's a healthy one.
It's no debate, actually. It's self-explanatory.
Well, I mean, it's a debate. People are arguing that, well, you cannot dechemicalize water. Others are saying, no, you can dechemicalize water. But be that as it may, Roland, we believe that if the government would adapt to these policies that we've presented, right, and then support young people who are in this menace to now transform into sustainable mining practices, not using these mercury and heavy metals to extract the gold, but to use other technologies, right, like magnetic technologies and all these novel technologies that are used in other developed countries, so that they can mitigate their anthropogenic activities collectively, so that we can be able to have a less polluted water and a less toxic water that is even affecting our food security today as a country. And so this is the position of the Movement for Change.
Now, the subject matter of why a concessionary license is given to a miner or somebody who goes to undertake a mine, but not doing that sustainably, if the enforcement was done right, could avert some of these things.
I agree. I mean, if you look at the budget going to EPA, for example, EPA is not well funded. Let's be honest here. The Water Resource Commission is not well funded, right? The Minerals Commission would sit in Accra, Roland, and issue licenses. We need indeed to fuse all these agencies with our local governance system. Because when you have a stronger local governance system, right, then enforcement becomes easy, because then you have some form of decentralization and devolution, right? And there will not be any, the power distance will be shortened for effective policy implementation.
They are located in all the MMDAs.
And
You'll find EPA.
And I'm saying that effective local governance system. You can have it there, but what is the result today as far as Galamsey is concerned? What is the result? We are currently recording about 12,000 NTU. 44 of our forest reserves are gone. So indeed, there is an issue with enforcement and indeed the strength of these institutions to enforce. And some of them are budgetary gaps. Some of them too are corruption, right? Too for the political economy. And others are just, I would say, selfish and greedy nature of some few people. And indeed, the underlying issue, Roland, is to do with unemployment. If you look at the World Bank policy notes for 2025, it's intimated in there that 80% of Ghana's poverty incidents occurs in the rural areas. Now, if you mention Galamsey, Galamsey is not in the urban area. It's all situated in the rural areas. So then you realize that over the years, we have failed to implement egalitarian policies to be able to leapfrog the dreams and aspirations of the young people in these rural areas. That is why we are calling on the government to look at how best they can tailor their 24-hour economy policy, together with the great transformational plan that we presented to them, so that they can be able to promote innovative policies that would enhance sustainable jobs for our young people, right? That would give them a meaningful and I would say a stable life. And then, indeed, when we are able to achieve that, Roland, the menace of Galamsey would be reduced. Do you know that? And I was surprising to even hear it, that, do you know, back in the days in Accra, you realize that these guys pushing these...
the trucks? Or trolleys?
Well, would I say trolley? I'll say trolley for these ice cream trolleys. We're all from the rural areas. Farm milk and all that, right? You quite remember?
Yes.
Now, do you know those people doing that? Foreigners.
Unemployed. Okay.
No, foreigners. They are Nigerians in the space now. Nigerians selling fun ice, yogurt, and all that. Where are the Ghanaians who used to do that job?
I don't understand.
Due to rural to urban migration. They are now back in their rural areas, digging in the pits to find a better living as a result of Galamsey.
Okay.
So indeed, if we should be able to implement egalitarian policies again, Roland, to tackle the teething issues of unemployment in this country, right? I believe that Galamsey will be reduced.
Professor Smart Sample has joined us. He's Director for Research and Innovation, the Kumasi Technical University. He's also a known pollster, engages public opinion on many policy-wide issues. And then, of course, when it comes to elections, his research outcomes tend to predict whether it's MPP or NDC that will be winning, etc. But irrespective of that, I know this is a key public policy issue, but at the end of the day, before the John Mahama, Nana Jino Poku Agyemang government came to power, you say that the public opinion that went against the ill actions or the poor actions to tackle Galamsey by the Akufo-Addo Bawumia government benefited the NDC administration, wouldn't you say?
Right,
Okay.
Roland,
So would you say that is why we have the pressure on the president to, for example, be more stern, be more forceful, and then be more or be seen to be stronger than what he's done so far, because he's done some bit of work, hasn't he?
Yes, Roland, good morning to your good self and to our cherished viewers. President Mahama has done, or is in the course to doing what he's supposed to do in response to the threat of Galamsey. But I think the pressure has come on him quite early, like you said, because back then in opposition, he formulated a lot of potential response to what is happening. And many Ghanaians were expecting that immediately he got the opportunity to lead the country once again, those propositions would have been put in place and the response be seen very, very faster or early enough. So that is why, in my view, the pressure is on. It's a worthy pressure. When it was on President Akufo-Addo in the past, it was a worthy call. And the pressure on President Mahama, again, is also a worthy call. So I'll start by pleading with the political interest groups, especially the NDC. They are in power. They shouldn't take it too hard if they see the pressure coming. They shouldn't get angry. I saw on a platform where some of the party people were angry, like, why are you saying this? Go and tell Akufo-Addo, blah, blah. No. Take it. The president has accepted the fight. So all of you following the president should accept it and daily do what you can to improve on the system. That's all Ghanaians want, in my view. So early days, but it's a worthy pressure because just recently, back in opposition, we saw it degenerating and potential responses were given by the president as his way of approaching the matter.
Okay.
If Ghanaians don't put pressure on him early enough and we wait for further, the situation would further degenerate when the Ghanaian is left without any loss or attention. He does worse things. And so I think it is early, but it is a worthy pressure. The president and all the people who helps the president should accept the pressure and then do daily accounting of how the situation is being improved.
Right. And you are saying this because of the work you do by way of the observation of the political climate and the public opinion. Right. Now, you live in the Ashanti region as well. It's one of the, I don't know whether it's the right word to use, the endemic areas where we have Galamsey being perpetrated. Okay. And I am told that historically, it is people's trade. People have lived on it for generations. Machinery and then Chinese technology has accentuated the duration for you to get gold quickly. Is that not it? Okay. So if that is the case...
Yes, it has.
If that is the case, how can we perhaps meet the president and his plan in the middle in such a way that people's economies and livelihoods are not lost, because all they've known for generations in their families is live off mining? And then at the same time, ensure that in those communities, they respect the president's actions or policies that I want to enforce a scheme or a policy direction where you have to mine sustainably. How can we do that, Professor Smatsapong? Because of where particularly you come from and where you live.
Yes, so I live in Ashanti region, and you are right to say that many parts of Ashanti region is exposed highly to what we are discussing. So you are right on that. And secondly, over the weekend, I celebrated my mother's 1-year anniversary. So I was in my hometown village in the western region, where you can also say that the situation we are discussing is also extremely...
Where's your mother's hometown?
The seat of the discussion is of Amenfi. Amenfi East.
Okay, Amenfi East. Okay. So yes. It's also one of the areas, right?
So I know. Yeah. Very, very prone to. The Amenfis cover both Wase Kropon.
Okay. So you are a son. You are a son of Galamsey, a product of Galamsey, so to speak.
In our time, there was nothing called Galamsey. So maybe the kids we are giving birth to now are those we can comfortably refer to as kids of Galamsey. But in my time, Amenfi was a very beautiful place. Just a kilometer away from my hometown, you will see the river and Cobra there. Very beautiful. Now wasted. And my discussion, ground level discussion with the people tells me that, you see, they know they are not supposed to approach the river. In fact, in our time, we were told it was a god, so people feared venturing the river. But they discovered, the Chinese assisted them to discover that right on the belt of the river, the same path the river is flowing, that same line is where the chunk of the gold is laid, naturally laid. So the river is flowing on gold. So if they try outside the river and they are not getting much, Chinese have come to demonstrate to them that right there on the belt, on the seat of the river, lies gold. They demonstrate it once, two, and they get like times 10, times 20, what they will struggle for months never to get when they are off the river. And unfortunately, this eye-opener by the Chinese has made a lot of people venture where Ghanaian ordinarily wouldn't have ventured. The rivers were very respectable natural habitats where, you and I know very well that a typical Ghanaian would have never ventured. But the Chinese came, so not only did they come with machinery and things that could cause extreme destruction within the shortest possible time, they also came to demonstrate to the Ghanaian, I'm talking experience, I know what I'm talking about, demonstrated that right there on the belt where the river is flowing lies the chunk of the gold you are off the river looking for. And when they did that, Ghanaians bought it, abused it, and our rivers are now.
Prof. Charlie.
If we continue to entertain foreign ideas into our traditional system, we will destroy our tradition. In fact, our tradition meant well by scaring all of us that the area is a no-go area, it's a court, it's this, it's that. Now, foreign idea has come to detraditionalize that, and we see the outcome. Now, the farms are also being lost because of this same discussion. So our food insecurity is daily becoming alarming, is reaching alarming states. Our trade, cocoa has been our backbone from day one. When you talk to Dr. Randy Abe, he will tell you that the future doesn't look good. So solution number one, and this has been my preferred solution going all these years round. Solution number one is to get the people who are doing it to understand that, you see, yes, you are getting the money, but the long-term effect exceeds money. I'm not even talking about the health implications, but our very survival, the basic things, the food is being exchanged for the gold. So someday will come, you would have money in your hands, but you cannot get healthy food to buy and eat.
Right.
When we educate them, get them to that level, and they understand, they will start by seeking for secluded areas like the mining giants were doing. They too were looking for gold, but they got concessions and explored. If our people will get concessions and explore and say that, oh, mining is good, but we are doing it within this parameter only, then we would be one step towards the future we all want for ourselves. So we have to start from there. It has been my position all this year round. The politician will tell you, no, it is the sole responsibility of the president. You saw that few years ago, few months ago. Yeah, and today they know very well that it must take everybody on board. President Mahama, sincerely, with all due respect, doesn't know any amount, doesn't know the areas I know where Galamsey occurs. And I can't imagine the entire Ghana Armed Forces being able to enter into the very areas where Galamsey occurs. I can take President Mahama to my constituency and there are some areas he would never know. Like, you don't know. You know the capitals only. You know only the capitals. You get to Asekopa and you think you're in Amenfi East. No.
Right.
So it must take the people. Let's put the politics aside at least for once, because the future doesn't look very, very good the way we are going about it.
Professor Spansapo, the picture you paint doesn't look good, right? But but we need to have preferred solutions and well actioned. And it looks like all the stakeholders are involved. There are journalists involved, politicians involved, chiefs involved, market queens involved, and of course, key funding individuals also involved. And it's an economy for people. So what is the opportunity cost then if we're asking them to trade off not getting access to their gold, they are mining illegally, for what? Are we cleaning the waters up, or what's the alternative, really? What do you think? You know those areas.
Yes. So, for example, every area is zoned. In my district, for example, Amenfi East, I think we have about 20 to 24 zones. So the district itself is zoned. we can declare some of the zones strategically. We can declare some of them free of Galamsey step by step. So we are going to educate these people, move them to an area where we have convinced ourselves that there is enough gold, share that area, that zone for all the zones. So for example, if we are doing 10 zones this year, let's identify 10 zones in Amenfi East where we can say, let's move everybody in Amenfi East doing Galamsey here. Government monitored, helps them establish their various concessions, provide security. You know, when they get into one area like that, it's easy to control them.
Yeah.
Provide security, provide this. Then the people themselves would know that the government is meeting us halfway.
Okay.
We can't destroy every part of Amenfi, but they have given us this area, let's say zone 1. And the people in there would adequately be compensated because, I mean, intruders, foreigners are coming in, this, that. So the indigents will be met. Some arrangements will be reached with them. Alternative livelihood programs will be enhanced over there so that we cannot say that we are destroying every part. But this part, we are not destroying. We are managing the mining over here. When they finish the mining, we will come inspect the level of reclamation they have done, the level of this, all the terms and conditions will arrive. And let me tell you, the miners are ready to cooperate if they see some of these halfway
initiatives
being done. So let's zone the areas. So in for example, for Antiaqua South, if we have 23 zones, we can examine the area and say in this zone 1 and 2, they can do mining here, the gold base here is huge. Let's move everybody, sensitize the community, move all the mining leaders to those areas, share, demarcate the concessions for them. While they are there doing the mining and the monitoring, we are reclaiming and restoring the ecosystem of the areas we have taken them out. Gradually, we will save at least half of the destroyed at the end. We'll be making progress from there. All right. I get passionate when some of these things are being discussed. The politics of it, Roland, it won't take us anywhere. Yeah. The earlier we pull the brakes on the politics, the better.
Okay. I spent time on you because you say I'm in Fi East, and then you also live in the Ashanti region. You know the areas. The way you are mentioning them, I'm even tempted that maybe you could be tempted to even engage in the Galamsey, but that's for another day.
I have been a cocoa farmer from day one, and I'm a proud cocoa farmer.
Yes, sir.
I won't change my
yes, sir. I apologize and retract if I insinuated in any way.
Oh, Roland, it's fine.
Dr. Koba has joined us. Dr. Koba, so it means that clearly laws alone will not work. I mean, we have regulations on one side, enforcement, but it's the human activity, right? People's behavior.
Yes.
And so it has to be holistic. Everybody has to be on board.
Yes.
What should we be doing right?
Well, so far, we have those who have analyzed the problems that we have and are really concerned about the threat to our very existence. Then we have the people who are actually doing the mining together with their kingpins who are making money out of it. And then we have, if you like, the government who is supposed to implement policies to clean up all this mess. I think that last week, a week ago, I think I saw a beginning of the dialogue that is essential in terms of getting this thing properly tackled. I think going forward, Roland, I think we need to distill out of the CSOs, the concerned CSOs, a core group that will periodically and consistently meet with the government, with NIMO. NIMO, I think this group should agree with the government on success indices, and the group will help monitor how things are going on the ground. The indices, we are talking about things like tracking the kingpins, the number of arrests, tracking the excavators. But in addition to that, we have to look at alternative livelihoods, the number of prosecutions, water quality, and the involvement of local authorities. So one of the problems is that in the past, concessions were granted and people were given the go-ahead without the involvement of our traditional rulers. So one of the indices that I am concerned about is that we should have a way of tracking the involvement of the local authorities and the youth locally. Then in the end, I think out of this should come a system of controlled small-scale mining. I think the professor was making allusions to some of the models that are floating out there in terms of how to control it.
Yeah.
I think I have not heard anyone talk about this zoning.
He talks about moving.
Yes.
So that you are interested, but you'll move from here. This is a good area. Yes. Then after some time, you move to this area while this place is
Roland, this is the kind of practical, underground solutions that we want to listen to, away from the, I wouldn't say needless, but the politics right. Where it's like, you polluted more than us, and that kind of attitude, So this core group, Roland, for me to wind up, I expect a core group coming out of this meeting last Friday to sit periodically with government. First of all, they should agree on indices, as I've mentioned, and help government to monitor these indices. And then keep us, the population, the people of Ghana, the citizens, informed as to where we are going.
I've known you for a long time. You're a traditional ruler, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So if, let's say, where's your...
In Commander.
Commander, okay. So it used to be the Gold Coast back in the day, so it used to be lots of gold. But if, let's say, you, Dr. Korba, Nana, you were in Amenfi East, there's gold coming in. A big man from Accra comes. Let's say it's Wontumi. Now he's under arrest. There's a new one that has resurfaced, let's say in the NDC or still with the MPP, but still operating within an NDC period, and comes to you in the dead of the night and says that, Charlie, Nana, me pede, a bomb. Major wasa sekakra. Maza mining. Of course, you're educated, but you have to take an economic decision, wouldn't you?
I think that our ancestors always did that.
The ancestors are gone. We're here today.
I'm saying that the need for us to make economic decisions did not start today. I think we've always balanced our very existence and the fact that we hold this earth in trust for the generations that are yet to come. I think our ancestors always were mindful of that. So if this person comes to a traditional ruler, I expect the wisdom of our ancestors to prevail. We need to balance. Our leaders need to balance our exploitation of resources for our current benefit and with future needs. And I think that it's possible to do that. What has been missing, again, are practical, implementable programs to achieve that. I was very, very, very impressed with what was it? Is it from Tech?
Smart Sapon.
Kumasi Technical University.
Okay. See, we
I think you should be at KNUST, eh?
Well, we are beginning to hear how to practically, I think it's one thing to be running scared like we all are about the existential threat that confront us, and asking for a state of emergency and banning everything. It's another thing looking at the young man who is surviving, taking care of his mother and his children and his younger brothers and sisters from Galamsey. What would he do when you take him out of the pit? We need to ask these questions. They are tough questions, but we have to deal with it. And I think that meeting, join with government,
is the best way to go.
Is the best way to go.
Yeah. So from the table and from what Professor Smatsapo is saying, the decisions would have to be made. Economic decisions will have to be made by individuals. Policies would have to be implemented, wherein regulations or laws will have to be enforced. But at the end of the day, human beings would have to also take actions or make choices for the public good. What I'm getting from this table is the human beings who are making those choices are not making those choices for the public good. And it's human behavior. How then do we make sure that everybody comes on board? It's like, the HIV fight, for example. They showed pictures of, at the turn of the millennium, of skeletal people, and then everybody got scared. And then, of course, solutions came. We had drugs, ARVs and all that.
The adverts and everything.
So now there's a problem of human behavior and the choices they are making. That is making the policy and the enforcement not work. So what do we do so that we satisfy all stakeholders?
Okay, again, you see, when I mentioned earlier on that a lot of people speak on this thing from a point of not having enough information, this is one of the things.
Great.
Because when I watched the presentation by the Minister for Lands at the presidency the other day, he talked about the fact that they've done engagement for almost all stakeholders needed in this area. Almost all. But I think the barrier there is taking the engagement further. Having been engaged, what do you do? What is your role? That is another. Doc here said about tracking kingpins. That is being done. The NIMOS, that is one of the reasons that resulted in the prosecution of Wontumi. Now, he talked about tracking excavators. Right now, as we speak, I said, now excavators are being licensed by DVLA from the port. You don't move away from the port before you go and license. If you have ever seen any excavator within the last years with a number plate, it's a fake number plate. Go and check. Perhaps it's some motorcycles number plate that was put there. I'm telling you. Then if you look at it...
They were never licensed.
They were never licensed.
According to Kote
they were never licensed.
DVLA, etc.
Yes, for 8 years.
Now they are being licensed.
They are now being licensed.
Tracked.
Exactly.
Okay.
Doc talk about, you see, involving local communities. It's one of the reforms of the Minerals Act that they will have local mining committees that you don't go and take license from Accra and come and say, I am now the big man from Accra, I am coming to mine. Then the idea that you are coming to Nana by the night and say that, Nana, I want to mine here, is gone because local people will be involved in the grant of the license. Yes, you see, I also want to make something clear. There's a difference between small-scale mining and small-scale mining illegally,
That's right.
which is Galamsey. There are people who are mining small-scale very well legally and doing things that we expect them to do. Now, the zoning of the areas, I think I heard something like that from the minister, that having looked at the information supplied by Geological Survey Department now or authority, they are zoning. But if I understand Doc, what he's saying is that let us carve some areas and say, okay, we'll mine here again. Then we move on to another block and say we'll mine here again, so that they allow the areas to, as it were, revitalize by themselves and move to another area. My problem, however, with Doc from Kumasi is that some of these beautiful, nice ideas, where have they reached? Is it that today we are hearing them? Has he submitted them? People like-minded of him Have they submitted theirs for the consideration of the government or the minister? These are the sort of things we need instead of shouting on rooftops that declare state of emergency, declare state of emergency. He has preferred pragmatic, practical solutions that let us do this.
He says he's not for state of emergency.
Yes.
Nana Koba also says he's not for state of emergency.
That is generally the
idea. He says he's
idea.
not for state of because the state of emergency is not the panacea. That's the word you claim.
Yes,
that
I
you
love
like
that word. It's not a panacea.
Yeah.
It is not going to solve anything. And you see, the other day, the president also said something that we have been mining before Don Diego de Azambuja came into the country. We have been mining. But we have not been mining with chamfans. We've not been mining with excavators. We've not been having water pumping machines on our rivers, etc. So once we are able to cut out this heavy machinery out of the hands of the Galamseyers, we'll reduce that to a large extent.
But it's technology not supposed to make us better.
Exactly.
And so if there's technology, why can't we rather have improved means by which we mine?
Exactly. And Roland, I agree with you. And that is why, if you look at the position of the Movement for Change, we have said that let us liaise with the Water Research Institute or the CSIR, together with the EPA. There are sustainable ways of catching gold that would not pollute our environment and poison our water bodies like we have today. There are technologies available. You know, and I want to say this, and for all the people of Ghana to hear. We would be hypocrites if we sit down here and we would try to blame the menace on Galamsey on foreigners. Indeed, we are a sovereign country. We are backed by laws. Do you understand, Roland? How would you allow a foreigner to come from his country? In the first place, the Chinese living in China does not know where Amenfi is. He does not know where Konongo is. He does not know where Osino is. Who takes him there?
What's that?
Who takes a Chinese person there? Who is lobbying? You understand? And I can tell you, Roland, when this fight began this year, I have been able to really send off some people who have received some prospecting licenses from our own people that come and mine in our country. I told them, I said, no. Foreigners are not allowed to indulge in small-scale mining. It's illegal. You cannot also use a prospecting license to mine. At least the license is valid for 3 years for exploration, and then you submit it to the Minerals Commission for further determination. But this is what our people are indulging in. And let me use this platform to commend the former ambassador for China,
Edward Boateng.
Yes, Edward Boateng. You know, during his tenure, they really, scrutinize the applications of Chinese citizens coming into this country for business. And Roland, I will tell you this today. There are 2 ways in which these illegal miners from China get into this country. They use the visa on arrival system, they abuse that system, and they also bribe some officers from our border towns and get into this country.
Chinese?
Yes, I am telling you this today.
Some of your friends? You went to school in China?
Not my friends, please, Roland. Roland, I never said my friends. I have never indulged in illegal mining. I have never promoted illegal mining. Anyone that knows my activities in
China... But you
China...
went to school in China?
That's what I'm saying. Anybody that knows my activities...
You have Chinese friends?
I do have Chinese friends.
Are some in Ghana?
Some are in Ghana, yes.
Are some involved in mining?
Never. I have never promoted mining.
Are some involved in sustainable mining?
No. No, I don't. All my friends are industrialists.
Your examination is superb.
Well, I believe in a different form of development for Ghana, right? I am a pro-industrialist person. And that is why we, together with the Movement for Change, led by our leader, Honorable Alan Kojo-Tramantin, are going to scrutinize the 24-hour economy industrial plan of the NDC. And we are the best, indeed, situated to be able to scrutinize that plan. Okay. Because, Roland, if you know the history and the track record of Honorable Alan Kojo-Tramantin, you know that in the history of our Fourth Republic, no erudite, as far as industrialization is concerned, has able to formulate a policy that today we have 6 of the largest automotive companies.
We're talking Galamsey.
I know, but I'm
campaigning for.
Well, I'm not campaigning, but I'm just telling you.
If you can stop the campaign, let's quickly.
No, but I'm just making it by the way, because you also veered away by asking certain questions that were not really related to the topic here. But I'm just making it known that indeed all these menaces that we're talking about, issue of Galamsey, Roland, the fundamental issue is what? Joblessness.
Yeah.
That is it. If we can be able to really stimulate some form of capital to the rural areas, right, for economic growth and create employment opportunity for our youth through industrial means or a new agricultural revolution that we have proposed under the Great Transformational Plan that seeks to ensure that the 5 northern regions of Ghana becomes a breadbasket of West Africa. Right?
Right.
All these young people that are indulging in this menace would have jobs to do. And let me say that there is also a radical policy that we want to recommend that going forward in our country, Roland, the natural resource wealth of Ghana is stipulated at $12 trillion. We are saying that going forward, no mineral resources, about 60% of our mineral resources would have to be value added. We need value addition for most of 60% of our mineral resources before it's been exported. So all the mineral resources that is mined in Ghana, we should ensure that there is 60% value addition before it leaves the shores of this country. You know what that would create? A lot of employment opportunities within this value chain for our young people.
All right.
And this is part of the radical policy intervention that we believe that if government would implement, it can go a long way to mitigate the anthropogenic activities of illegal miners and, for that matter, the degradation of our lands.
Right. And I can tell you from the comment on our stream, TV3 Ghana, for which we have many of you watching, over 2,400 people watching currently, are very varied, very mixed. Some want drastic action. Okay. Some want drastic action. Some are even blaming the president for not taking those drastic actions, for example. So this one from Gregory Esiedu says instant beating of Galamsey is necessary as a corrective measure. So we want brutal action, martial law, so to speak. So if we had
it's not going
and
to
then Kwabnafi also said Professor Sapo has made a great submission today and worth commendation. However, let me state that his proposal has actually seen a part or is being undertaken already. The August 6 program at the Linkley Stadium, which saw the unfortunate crash, was also part of it as well. I guess he's also proposing a wider solution to the problem. Yao Febri says that the chamfines and excavators used in illegal mining were introduced in the first term of President Mahama, and then they increased during the Akufo-Addo period, and now we cannot seem to take them away. Okay. Peter Ebua says politicians are causing this. Prince Nani Oyok, celebrating the birthday today, says that we need action, not always talk. So he's accusing us of always just sitting here and talking. And Raymond Goodwill, however, also makes a very strong point. He said for those who claim that those boys or men and women doing illegal mining are jobless, that cannot be true. I know people who have sold their properties to enable them buy Galamsey lands in search of gold and resign from gainful white-collar employment just to go into Galamsey because they're getting it. Hard cash money. Obrin Ponkaba says that the president is demonstrating a typical Ghanaian attitude, like wait and see. And then some also said that we should arrest the kingpins. So what's happened? We have Wontumi, we know now, has been accused through his Akunta mining, etc., of having mined illegally in the forest. So he was accused of being, a kingpin, so to speak, etc. And of course, we saw the numbers trooping out yesterday, etc., in his support as the bill conditions were met, among many others. and we're expecting that there'll be more charges that will be preferred on him as well. Smart Sapon, tell me, does it work? I mean, when you take, let's say, we are the kingpins here. So let's say Roland, big kingpin, I wish though, so that I'll get lots of money. But even though it's not the right way to go. And then Musa is also, Inusa is also a kingpin, TK is also a kingpin, and then Nana, Dr. Koba is also a kingpin. Let's say you come and arrest, I should not be arrested. So let's say you come and arrest lawyer TK here. I mean, does this serve anything at all? So you do this for Yami, you do for Wontumi. Is that to just create political agitation, put fear, or how does it rhyme with or sync with public opinion really? And then put the fear in the campaigns, not to be funding this.
Once the case becomes sub judice, we may want to excuse ourselves from discussing. But in terms of the personality of Wontumi, I know he would have his day in court and people would the court will decide appropriately. People will talk and follow him because he is a politically exposed person. And the Attorney General will mention my brother Yamin's name and a politically exposed person, Vice Chairman Abanga's name, also politically exposed persons. But I mean, if that is going to be the direction, we may just be benefiting politically from the conversation. There are people who are apolitical, they are businessmen, but their business is in destroying the forest. That is their business. In fact, you can have them. They are not politically aligned. They can sponsor NDC, they can sponsor NPP. There is this Ghana Web article on the 20th of November, 4th of November, where it is reported that 1,200 pickups were donated to the NDC, I think November 2020, towards the 2020 election or so. So these are people who might not be politically exposed. And if we should focus our energy on politically exposed people, we only gain politically. All right, let's spread our net. Let's not assume that it's only politically exposed people who are into mining. Some of them are even, you may even have a pastor. I'm not saying this for a fact, but this is a society we have. You can have even a man of God, so-called, who is somewhere backstage destroying the environment. So let's open our nets. There are a lot of people who are into some of these things needs to be investigated beyond politically exposed people. As for the substance of the matter, I think the court will discuss that. And when the verdict comes, you will be here to also digest it. As to whether myself and people of my like are ready to share some of these practical opinions on paper to the relevant officers, why not? Very, very well available. Only that the politicians, depending on the time, would want to listen to you. I have shared this view some time back, but the response I got from especially the NDC was that I'm watering down the discussion. The discussion is about state of emergency, not what you are talking about. Stop watering down the enormity of the conversation we are having. I am still on that same position. I think that it's a mixture of livelihood, economics, and a lot of things. So let's organize the system. Now it is disturbed. Every part of the districts, I mean the mining districts, every part of it is destroyed. That's why I'm saying that let's begin to zone the areas. We can't destroy everywhere at the same time. So if anybody seeks to mine or go for concession, the one issue in the concession should know that in District 1, it is only this area that concessions can be issued or mining licenses can be issued. And so if you have spotted the place outside that zone, please go back into the area demarcated for mining and go and do your engagement before you come. When we do that, we will be allowing that part of the district to breathe. The water systems over there will naturally restore itself. In fact, we cannot find refuge in the nanotechnology my very good professor EPA is suggesting. We cannot find refuge in it. It is a good initial step, but it can be.
Are you a nanotechnologist yourself? Because the way you're questioning, the solution has been preferred by the EPA boss. That's why I'm asking.
No, I'm not a nanotechnologist myself. I'm a research professor.
But you're rubbishing the solution.
What I'm saying is that we can have it as an immediate term response to the level we have now, but we cannot find refuge. We cannot continue to rely on nanotechnology to be purifying our water
when
we have to allow the water to naturally purify itself. I mean, so let me rephrase it. We cannot continue to look for $200 million or whatever it is, and the miners will also be there destroying the water because with $200,000, we can refine the water. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm saying that if it is a response to the immediate level, that is fine. But in the long term, we must think of some of these suggestions we are discussing on your very big platform.
Fantastic.
So that we have the environment restore itself naturally. That is how God wanted it. God didn't want Ghana, exclusively a country called Ghana, to be treating its water using nanotechnology at the expense of the taxpayer, 200,000 or so, 200,000 or million or so dollars, as we are told. When elsewhere in the world, their waters are clean, naturally treating itself, they are drinking. Why would we want to do that to ourselves, a small country called Ghana? So we are ready, ever available. I am a Ghanaian. I will forever avail myself for any conversation like that, especially when I am a first-hand witness to the stages our environment has gone through in my district, in many other districts, and the level it has reached now. I think some of these solutions should be taken seriously. If we want to do further discussion, why not? I am very, very well available all the time. You know that I'm always available.
Fantastic, man. And you wanted to react to that before taking
Roland, yes, Roland, I must say that the fight against Galamsey should not be politicized.
It has been politicized.
It should not be.
Should not be. Okay.
I mean, this morning's conversation, there's data that we can come here and bash both the NDC and the MPP. But you realize that the position of we members of Movement for Change, and one of the tenets for our creation is that we need a government of national unity. And so I'm very, very disappointed with Professor Smart Sapon for some of the utterances, be it 1,200 pickups, 300, it doesn't matter. Right now, we have an existential threat to do with. If you're talking about NDC getting pickups, you might as well talk about MPP as well. But that is not relevant. We are not here to push a partisan agenda.
You're saying we should
Let us depoliticize this Galamsey menace, please.
Roland.
All right.
Please.
Roland, excuse me.
Please.
Roland.
Roland.
All right.
This fight is for
Roland,
Ghana.
can I
We
can I have
cannot
1 minute?
wear any MPP, NDC T-shirt to fight this menace. It would not work. It has never worked. We need a united front as Ghanaians.
Right.
That is why God, in His infinite wisdom, created water as what? A colorless substance. Today, the color of water is not MPP, it's not NDC. It doesn't matter who took what, who took them.
But he didn't do that. Or his reference to the pickups.
That's why I'm saying that it is needless.
No, but Roland,
please.
Roland,
let us not create the arena that would allow politics.
I like this. Please react shortly. 30 seconds.
Yes. My brother Inusa should not take us that direction. You see, if you planned to come and tow your conversation away, accept that the opportunity hasn't brought itself. I felt that this morning's discussion has been extremely nationalistic.
Yes.
My reference to a Ghana Web news item was not to create any politics. Are we doing politics this morning?
No,
Naturally,
we are not.
What
No
I'm saying
MPP,
is that what we are saying this morning, if he wasn't listening, is that these people are not all politically exposed people, and that there are some neutral businessmen backstage who sponsors both the NPP and the NDC. And the focus of the Attorney General should also be broadened to capture some of those people, and some may even be pastors and men of God and all those.
Very well.
It's unfortunate if you are here to just pick on people's words. Share your view.
Don't come and do politics on this platform. This is a national.
The mics are off. Your mic is off. Prof, you two, you are muted. So you wanted to do some reactions quickly.
Yes, I'm glad.
Wontumi is in the dogs and all that.
Yes, I'm glad.
So the question I asked was, getting the kingpins arrested is a way to go. He says that we only don't have politically exposed people. We have
yes, I am glad Prof has clarified the pickup matter, so I will not go there. Thanks, Prof. Prof, you can take my details from the producer. I'll carry your suggestions, well-written, documented, to the minister. And it will not be watered down at that level. I'm a mining engineer myself, Prof. So permit me. I'll carry it to the minister and we'll work on it. Now, Wontumi will have his day in court. As at yesterday, we were aware that himself and the Akunta Mining Company had both been charged. So, and there's another person also charged. Perhaps the person is not as popular as Wontumi. That's why we are not hearing. They'll be in court today. And the Attorney General has made us aware also that today there will be cabinet meeting. Then they will get cabinet's approval for public tribunals to be established that will deal with Galamsey related cases. And their mandate will be to deal with those cases within 6 months so that we have justice.
When would they be established?
I said today there's cabinet meeting, so that will be discussed at cabinet meeting. And if they get approval, once Parliament resumes, the bill will be passed for us to have that. The minister mentioned it at the session at the presidency the other day, Minister for Justice and Attorney General. So there will be the need, and you heard the president saying that the young ones, but the small boys, but the punishment, the minimum is 5 years. And the minister also said that people who were arrested around and sent to court in Kumasi, granted bail, go back and commit the same offense. So now they are being brought to Accra so that different courts will look at the situation. If West come to West, they will appeal against the grant of bail and keep the people so that we make sure that the law is being enforced. Okay. So for me, a lot of work is being done. We are all here. And if this is enough sample size for you, you have had 1, 2, 3, 4, all saying that there's no need for state of emergency. If we carry it out, it means you have almost 100% agreeing there's no state of emergency. So for me, let's leave it there at the moment. Let's continue the work we are doing. Prof, we'll be in touch and we'll carry some of your suggestions onto the ministry. Let's implement some and we'll see Ghana develop along the way of responsible mining. That is what we need to say.
Dr. Koba, your last word.
Well,
I didn't know this was my last word.
I think that we have seen in this government, President John Mahama has moved the conversation from, the political footballing to practical on-the-ground implementation strategies. I think that we should go in that direction. Again, I will call on for the creation of a smaller body of people who will keep the feet of the government to the fire and make sure that we are doing what we are supposed to do. I think that would be good for the government itself, that we should have success factors and the citizens should be kept informed that this week we arrested so many people. These are the people who are before court. This part of the country has been reclaimed. We are doing afforestation here. We are doing this here. The water here has improved, such and such, so that we are carried along. Okay. And while doing that, we should tone down the politics. I think that members of the opposition should understand that we have gone beyond those days of making, equalization politics and creating capital out of an existential problem. And I think we are getting there under the leadership of...
so we'll get there to have our waters very clean as they used to be or close to. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And Dr. Inusa right here, as well as lawyer TK as well. And then, of course, Nana Dr. Koba and Professor Smart Sapon. Thank you for joining us as well this morning. I'm seeing that since the spat between the two of you, your face has changed. Smile for me.
Oh, no. I'm well under control.
Smile for me. It's part of the conversation.
Fantastic.
Yeah. Fantastic. Again, you say welcome. Your Amenfi East, your constituencies are Amenfi East?
Yes.
Okay.
Both East, Central, and West are my zones.
So you can choose anywhere to be an MP?
Oh, you want me to be an MP, Roland?
It's a question. So you can choose anywhere to be an MP? Anyway.
Well, I'm a university professor.
Don't worry, so are many members of parliament who used to be. But no problem at all. Okay. Wishing you all the best for the day, okay?
Thank you.
And keep getting our invitations always well received. And thank you as well. You wanted to have a last bite.
Yes, Roland, indeed. I mean, whatever we do here is a patriotic duty to the country. And we do it with a heart that Ghana first and Ghana matters. And I'm glad that on this table, we have come to understand and realize that the fight against Galamsey will not be won if we politicize it. Indeed. And that it needs a collective effort of each and every Ghanaian to bring an end to it.
Okay.
Indeed, collectivism is the panacea to solve the menace of Galamsey and not individualism or partisanship.
Fantastic.
Well, today is my friend's birthday.
This is a tone of Nkrumah. Obed what?
Jawoda. He will be a lawyer on Friday.
Okay. You'll be called to the bar gracefully, by God's grace, on Friday. And happy birthday to you, Obed Jawoda. Also, Prince Daniel York, happy birthday to you. All those watching us in the office of the Minister for Roads, Frank Fia, the rest of all the beautiful ladies as well. Wish you all the best for the day. And then also Ministry of Food and Agriculture. I have Ruby Ajibo, good morning to you as well. But